Her triumphs. I took a group of women that didn't believe in themselves, and I just believed in them. Her trials.
I never wanted to go to practice. I was losing a ton of weight.
Her story.
I just put my faith in God and just trusted the system.
Her why.
I want people to see what I did and say, oh, that's so awesome. I'm going to be better than that. That would be how I hope that this journey ends.
This is Her Why, where we tell the stories from BYU women's sports. Here is your host, Lauren McLean.
We're so glad you've joined us for Her Why, where we celebrate the women who make BYU sports great. Today, we're joined by María José Barragán, a freshman on the women's golf team from Morelia, Mexico. Thanks so much for being here with me, Maria.
Thank you for inviting me.
You were invited to compete in the ANNIKA Latin American Invitational that took place in Argentina in November. How did you get that invitation?
Well, during last year, I was the number one Mexican player, so I was really good ranked. I won 2 of 7 national tournaments,
Wow.
and I got like 5 top 3s. So I was really consistent last year, so that makes me go to that tournament. They only buy the 60 best Latinas, so I was really grateful to go and participate in such a great event.
You were able to compete with some of the best women in Latin America. Valentina Rossi, who was the champion in 2022, Ela Anaconia, who is a 3-time winner of the Ladies Republic Open, and competed as a junior Olympian for Argentina, and so many others. Who were you most excited about seeing there at this tournament?
I was excited to see ANNIKA, but she didn't win. But honestly, I was really excited to see my friends from Mexico because a lot of them, they're now in college and they're playing really, really good. So I was excited to compete with them. And also, I know a lot of girls that are in college now. I was excited to compete with Majo Marin. Like, she's the number, I think, 16 right now.
Okay.
And she's one of my best friends, but she didn't win. And I was so sad of that. Yeah.
So cool. That's got to be a little bit nerve-wracking to compete against so many incredible women. You were one of them, too. You're one of the top in Mexico. So what did you do to kind of psych yourself up for this tournament?
I really want to play really good. And the pressure there, it's different as playing a normal tournament. If you win that tournament, you go to 3 majors. So everybody wants to go to 3 majors and compete with the professional golfers. So I was really, with not big expectations and just play my golf and be relaxed. And yeah.
You ended up playing very well. What was the course like?
The course was not that difficult. The greens were like the most difficult thing, but I mean, the wind was terrible. It was so bad. And that makes like the scores were really high because it was not a difficult course, but it was difficult to literally hit the ball because of the wind. Yeah.
Ugh. You improved each day, though, shooting 76 on day 1, 74 on 2, and then 71 on day 3. What helped you keep scoring lower and lower each day, do you feel like?
Well, and on day number 1, I was playing, I think it was the day I played the best, but I finished really bad, and I was so mad with myself because all the day I was 1 under, and then I finished really bad, and well, during day 2, I was just like, play golf. And I didn't start good. And, well, I was like really consistent in the last holes. So I almost made 2 hole-in-ones. And I was like, that was so excited for me. I have never do one. And I was like, well, I would love to do one here. Like, because Golf Channel was there. Like, I would love to have my first hole-in-one on camera. And during day number 3, I made 2 eagles, so that makes me motivated more. I was really relaxed. I was just having fun, and I think it's one of the most important things when you're playing like that type of tournaments. Just like be relaxed and know that you have all the capacity to play good.
Yeah, and you had nothing to lose, like you mentioned before. On that last day of the tournament, you shot 80. What happened on that day?
That day, it was really, really windy. It was a really hard day. I was always like thinking, oh, okay, I can do it. I can. And I really, my goal was to get like top 10. And well, I was really close the third day, and I was just like, shoot a 72. It's easy. And then like when I go to the course, it was like, okay, it's not gonna be easy. It was really hard to win.
Golf is just incredibly hard without the elements, right?
Yeah.
Of outside. You ended up finishing, you tied for 23rd at 13 over par. How do you feel about those end results?
I wanted to do better. The course was so difficult the last day, and I played really good, like mentally. That it's the most important thing when you're playing. And maybe sometimes you don't see the score, like how you play in the scores. So I was feeling really grateful for being there. And also, well, I feel my golf is getting better and better. So I just think that tournament prepares me a lot for the next semester, because right now we are off season. So I really want to do so much better on next season. So
yeah,
I'm excited. We have a lot of coming tournaments, so yeah.
Yeah, and what an incredible preparation. Probably the best that you could have had. You mentioned that it was on the Golf Channel. Was your family able to watch you?
I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
Pretty cool, though.
Yeah.
Let's get to know you a little bit better. You're from Morelia, Mexico.
Yeah.
What was it like growing up there?
Well, it was me and the golf course, because it's a little town. So I was always in the golf course. My friends are my golf friends. I was always with the same people. And it's a really beautiful town. I love Mexico. I can say, like, I have visited a lot of places, and Mexico is just my culture. It's my people. And yeah, I think I'm really, really Mexican. Yeah, all my teammates are always like, girl, you're so Mexican. I was like, I know.
And I'm proud of it.
Yeah, I'm really proud of.
What was your family like? Were they big golfers too, since you mentioned that you basically grew up on a golf course?
No. My dad and my grandfather, they used to play a lot when my dad was young, but they don't really be golfers. They're just like play for fun.
Yeah.
And one day when I was 5 years old, my dad bought me golf clubs. I don't know why. Like, he just bought it. And I was dancing flamenco in that time. So I was like, okay, let's try it. And I started to play golf. And I remember my first practice was putting. And I was like, what is this? I love this. And my mom always said, like, I didn't know anything about golf, but the only thing I knew is that you love it. Like, since the first moment you play.
Yeah.
Everybody in my family now loves golf. Yeah.
That is so cool. And was your dad like, she's pretty good at this, when he bought you your first pair of clubs when you were 5 years old?
Yeah. Well, I didn't play anything when he bought it. He was just like, okay, because that's the time when you try all the sports. I was playing tennis, I was swimming, I was dancing flamenco, I was doing everything. So he just decided, like, okay, golf right now.
And then you loved it.
And then I love it.
You mentioned you did swimming and dancing. Did you do anything else as you were growing up like that? Or from when you were 5 years old on, it was just golf?
Well, like competition, just golf.
Okay.
Yeah, I just have played golf all my life. Last year I went to some soccer competitions, but it was just for fun. So
okay.
Yeah,
golf was your more serious.
It's my
venture.
only serious. No, my only serious.
Do you still dance though?
No, I'm so bad dancing. I can't dance anymore. Yeah.
Well, I was gonna have you show me some. No, I'm just kidding. You mentioned the number one best player in the junior rankings for 2022, 2023. How many schools had their eyes on you to come to college and play for them?
Well, I commit with BYU last year on August, and then I start playing good. So for me, like, my recruiting, I used to play good, but I was not the best.
Yeah.
So also for me, it was really hard, the recruiting, because I think I commit like late for golf, because they just like starting committing when they are juniors in high school, and I committed when I was a senior. So when BYU, Carrie, I met her on a tournament, and when I met her, I was like, whoa, she's so nice. Like, I think one of the most important things when you're like talking with coaches is like your relationship with them. I like her a lot since the first moment I met her.
Did you always want to go to a school in the United States, though?
Yeah, that was my dream.
Okay.
Because, where I live, there used to be like a really big team of golfers. They're like 10 years older than me. So I knew that they all went to college to the United States, and I was like, whoa, that's my dream. I want to go. I literally prepared for that since I was 12 years old. It was my dream to come here, and I love it.
We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll hear how Maria made her way from Mexico to BYU. This is Her Why. Welcome back to Her Why. I'm Lauren McLean, continuing my conversation with María José Barragán from the women's golf team. So you traveled almost 2,000 miles from home to join the BYU Cougars. So you mentioned you met Carrie Roberts. How did that all come about? How did you first meet her?
I met her. It was fun because we were sitting, all my friends from Mexico, and she just joined us. It was weird. And she started eating avocado, and I was like, why are you eating an avocado like that? And she said like, oh, I love avocado. And I was like, okay, I'm from where all the avocados are. And it was fun. Like, we started talking about avocados, and then like we started talking, more talking, and she said like, oh, I like you, like, and and she was like, oh, what year you are? And I was like, oh, I'm a 2023. And she was like, oh, I suppose you're already committed. And I was like, no, I'm not. And then I went to a trip with my family, and I remember I was in a mall, and she called me like, I want to offer you. And I was like with my phone joining into like internet, like finding internet somewhere. And yeah, we came back from the trip, and I came to BYU. I visited, and I love it. Well, like, Utah is impressive. Like, all the mountains, I was like, whoa, what is this? This is a paradise. So yeah, and then like, I came back home. I talked with my parents, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to commit with BYU. Yeah.
Wow. What had you heard about BYU before you met Carrie Roberts and before you came to visit Provo?
I know it was a really, really good academic school, and I really want to be like in a really good academic school because, well, I want to be a professional golfer, but I also need to have like my plan B. So,
right.
Yeah, I knew it was a really good school, and I was like, well, that's a good option.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did the fact that BYU, because I know you're Catholic, is that right? Did the fact that BYU was a religious school have any impact on you coming?
No, because, well, I grew up in a really Catholic family, so it's basically the same rules.
Yeah.
So I was like, it's fine. I would love to be around religious people, and I think it's really, really nice to be around people, like so good people. And for example, my Mormons teammates, I love them. Like, they're so good.
That's
and
awesome.
Yeah.
So that was the religious aspect was a pretty easy transition for you, but this is your freshman season at BYU. Mm-hmm. How's it been just adjusting to a brand new culture, a brand new place? You're away from your family.
Yeah.
How's that been for you?
It's having difficult, honestly, but I think be able to have such an amazing team helped me a lot because, well, they're like my sisters right now. Well, my team is my family, so yeah, I think my teammates have helped me a lot. I also have a lot of international friends. But yeah, it's difficult to adjust to the culture. Most like all my team is American.
Yeah.
So I was just nervous at the beginning because I think I thought my English was not the best. And I say it always to my family, like, I think Americans are always rushing. Like, it's so different. Like, I think Mexico, we live like really relaxed, and here like everybody's rushing all the time. And I was like, what's this?
Slow down.
Yeah, it slowed down a little bit, but yeah, I think it was just difficult on the first month, but right now I'm like, I know how it works now.
Yes.
So yeah.
You've adjusted.
Yeah.
How do you feel like your teammates, because you mentioned that they're your family now, how do you feel like they have helped you adjust to this life in the United States?
For example, now I think I understand the slang.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. And also, my team is really, really nice with me all the time. Also, they want like to learn Spanish. They're like, okay, teach me Spanish. So I think like that helps a lot when you're like really far away from home. That have really close people to talk. And yeah, I mean like my team is the best. I love them.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's some of the slang you feel like they've taught you?
One of my teammates is from Seattle, so she talks a lot with slang. So it's always like, oh, this is so lit. And now, like, I was like, because I used to use like, oh, that's cool. And I'm like, oh, that's so lit.
They're like, no one says cool anymore.
Yeah. No, that's not cool.
Yeah, that's not cool unless you say lit.
Yeah.
So do you feel like, who specifically has taken you under their wing on the team? Was there one girl in particular that was like, come be my buddy? Or was it kind of the whole team in general?
Oh, the whole team. Honestly, the whole team. They're so nice. I love them.
And you mentioned that they wanted to learn Spanish. What are some of the things that you feel like you've taught them from your own culture that that you've seen them kind of implement in their own life?
Okay, I think like for example, we were celebrating Halloween, and well, I don't celebrate Halloween. I celebrate Dia de Muertos. So I brought it's a bread we eat during Dia de Muertos, and they were like, oh my god, that's so good. And then like I bring candies all the time. I'm like listening all the time to music in Spanish. So they're just like all the time with the Latino vibe. I just say like, I'm Latina, I want to listen to music all the time. Yeah.
I love it. You're gonna get them to slow down in no time.
Yeah.
So BYU, we mentioned this before, is a really tough place academically. This is the first time you've had to take all your classes in school completely in English. How difficult has that been for you?
It has been difficult. It's just so different. Well, during high school and middle school, I used to have like science, but we were like, they explain us in Spanish. Like it was the content, it was in English, but they explain us in Spanish. So yeah, it's having hard. I think I just like waste more time studying, and I think it's the first semester.
Yeah.
But well, I think for the next semesters it's gonna be easier, I hope. Yeah.
Are the professors, do they work with you a little bit, the professors?
Yeah, they help me a lot, and well, I think I'm doing pretty well.
Yes.
I hope.
Well, you speak English very, very well. How long have you been studying English?
Well, I started when I was 2 years old. Yeah. Well, I started with the colors, the numbers. So,
wow.
Yeah. Yeah, I was
And
in
then
a
all through
bilingual
school.
school. Yeah. So, yeah, I have talked English all my life.
Wow. What do you miss most about Mexico? Because I know you mentioned you miss it. What about like the food, the traditions,
The food.
culture, the food the most?
The food
What's
the
your
most.
favorite Mexican food?
I can say is enchiladas. I miss, yeah, and I also miss my mom's food.
I bet.
Yeah.
I know some good Mexican restaurants I can recommend to you.
Yeah,
We'll do that later.
Yeah.
Do you get to speak Spanish very often?
Here?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, a lot. My best friend, she's in the basketball team and she's from Spain, so I talk with her all the time. And also, like there are 3 Mexicans on the swimming team, so I talk with them all the time in Spanish.
Oh,
yeah.
how refreshing is that to be able to speak in your own language?
Very refreshing.
After a full day of BYU classes in English.
Yeah.
You've already finished the first part of your season and you'll pick back up in February. Have you typically played year-round? Or have you had breaks like you do now?
No, it's my first time I have breaks. So right now in off season, I'm just want to prepare really much for the season, and well, I want to do my best. And yeah, I said like I'm working a lot. I want to have a better golf, and because like competition here on the United States is so different as in Mexico. yeah, it's so hard here.
Well, you luckily have some amazing teammates and amazing coaches, like you mentioned,
Yeah.
Carrie Roberts and Leah Garner as well, who is the 2-time winner of the Utah Women's Open. What have you learned from them, your coaches, since you've been here in Utah?
Well, I have learned a lot of them. Well, for Leah, she's a really, really good golfer. Like, and also, like, she helps me a lot, like, during tournaments because, for example, of the semester, I struggled a lot with my putting, and she was always there when I need to putt. And I was, like, so grateful for have them, like, helping me when they knew I was struggling with something, and I'm working a lot on my putt. And for example, for Carrie, I have learned a lot of things. She helps a lot with the mental thing, and like that power that we need to have as a college golfer, because it's like different for junior for college. So yeah.
Do you feel yourself improving since you've been here?
Yeah. I was with one of the Mexican coaches in Argentina, and she told me like, wow, MJ, you have changed a lot. Like I listen to you and you're like another golfer, and I'm just like, I'm just maturing. Like I'm now a college golfer. I'm not anymore the junior golfer I was last year. So yeah, I think that he'll help me a lot with this transition.
I love that. And there's a lot that comes with being a college golfer. You've competed in 3 other tournaments this season: the Leadership in Golf Invitational, where you ranked 84th, the Marilyn Smith Sunflower Invitational, where you ranked 19th, and the Dale McNamara Invitational, where you ranked 36th. How do you feel the fall season went for you and for the team?
Well, I think, we're a pretty new team. Oh, well, we have 2 transfers. We're 2 freshmen. So I think we're a pretty new team. We're a lot of sophomores and freshmen. So I think we just needed to adjust to the team this season. And, well, for me, yeah, I mean, like, it was hard. Like, everything has been, like, it's so different. Yeah.
Yeah, now you can settle in a little bit, right?
Yeah.
2 of those tournaments are 18-hole courses, and one of them is a 54-hole course. Which course do you prefer? Because obviously one is a 3-day tournament, is that right? So which do you prefer and why?
We always play the same 18 holes.
Yeah.
So it's so hard when we play in 36 in one day. It's so hard. Like, people say, like, golf is not a sport. Like, play 36 holes. Like, we're always in the course, like, all the day. It's so hard. Like, I remember my first one, it was walking, and it was a course, like, it's Chambers Bay. It's, like, downhill and uphill, and we're, like, with the push cart. We literally start eating breakfast when it was the sunrise, and we literally finished when it was the sunset. And it was and it starts raining. It starts like we were like, what is this?
Yeah.
Like, first college tournament, that's what is this? Yeah.
What am I doing? It's it can be super difficult. I feel like when you put in a lot of the work and you don't see the success, because you mentioned that golf is such a mental game. So how do you mentally recover after a tough hole and you have to just move on to the next? Like, what do you do personally to kind of get into the right mode as you move on to the next hole?
I just try to think it was just one hole. I have more coming. It's never going to be my last hole. Like, I'm going to play more tournaments. I'm going to, like, maybe I'm in the first hole and I didn't do good on the first hole. Like, I have 53 more holes. Like, so I just think, like, this is not the last one. Like, I can do better. Like, the next one. And yeah, that's always my thought. Like, it's never the last one.
There's always one more.
Yeah.
Now that you've been able to have a semester, you've settled in, you're more comfortable with the language and with the school and with the culture, what do you feel like your goals are for the spring season coming up?
Well, I really think, I'm preparing a lot. I'm working a lot on my swing. I'm working a lot on strategy. I'm going to the gym. I have really big expectations this semester. I just want to win.
Yeah.
And I want, like, my team to win. And I think we're all really inspired. We want to do incredible things, and we all working for that.
Yeah. I'm so glad you're just a freshman so we can watch your entire career, because I feel like you have incredible things in your future. And we're here with María José Barragán, a freshman on the women's golf team. María, thank you so much for joining me today. You're incredible, and good luck in the spring season.
Thank you very much.
Thanks also to Annie Robinson and Sydney Simpson for producing this episode. Cleon Wall is the senior producer. Her Why is a production of BYU Radio. You can download and listen to all episodes of Her Why on the BYU Radio app or wherever you find podcasts. Her Why is a production of BYU Radio.